Hey guys, it's me here. I just wanted to make a video explaining what is going on with the final project for you guys, so that you're not super duper confused the entire time. So it's called an ACES square, as you see in your assignment paper that I sent in. What you're going to be doing is making this. It's kind of cool looking. It ends up, you're going to make it on some nicer cardstock paper. Mine's on blue. Made it a little bit difficult to write on. I ended up using a lot of pencil and some crayons, I believe, here, in order to make it so that it was visible. But anyhow, it's going to end up being very cool. What you're going to do is, so there are going to be 4 flaps. At first, when you get your cardstock, you're going to want to fold it in half and half again so that you can figure out what the center is. And then you fold into the center to make your flaps. Okay. Then on each flap, you have different things. So the first 3 flaps are going to have 3 of the short stories that you read. Okay. On the outside, you're going to have the title of the short story, the author, and the year that it was written, and then some kind of a picture that you make. So this one would be A Brave New World by Aldous Huxley in 1931, and then I did a picture. Okay, The Lottery, which is the only one that we read that is on here, by Shirley Jackson in 1948, and then a picture. The year should be on the copy of the short stories that you have, but if not, you can ask staff or maybe Mr. Greg to look up the year if you can't find it. Okay. Then on the inside of each one of those flaps, you are going to write out like a paragraph, okay? You are going to write out a paragraph, and if you look on the second page, my finger got in the way, of the instructions, let me get down to the second page here. It explains the questions, okay? So you're going to choose one question for each one of the 3 stories that you choose. You can't do the same question for each story, guys. So one of them you can do, how did the author use figurative language to create his or her dystopian world, right? Figurative language are things like similes, metaphors, imagery, right? The second question is, how does the text show the characteristics of a dystopian society? That one should be a really easy one. Use that on the hardest text that you choose. That's my little hint, okay? Question number 3 is, what do you think the author was trying to portray in the story? So what was he warning us of, right? What was the lesson that he was trying to get across? And the 4th one is, according to the text, why did this society become a dystopia? Okay, so you're only going to end up answering 3 of those 4 questions, one for each of the 3 flaps 1 through 3. Okay, then on the inside, in the center, you are going to compare and contrast 2 of the texts. It can be any of the 2 texts that you read. It could be 2 that you used. It could be 2 that you didn't use. May I suggest doing Examination Day and Harrison Bergeron, since they compare and contrast really, really well. That goes right in the center. Okay. My little paragraph about it didn't fill up the whole center, so I also drew some pictures because I didn't want to leave any blank spots. But you might end up using the entire center. You can do it in a Venn diagram, that's okay. Or you can write it out in a paragraph. Either one is fine. These have to be written out in paragraphs with evidence, right? Okay, and then our 4th flap. On the outside of the flap, you're going to define what sci-fi is. Look at that article that you read about sci-fi. And you're going to define what a dystopia is, okay? If you look at mine, you'll realize that I have not put real definitions at all on this, so don't think that you're going to copy my definitions. Sci-fi is a television channel that you can get if you have cable. That is not the definition of sci-fi. And dystopia is a topic you can have on ice cream at the Mad Cow Creamery in St. Pete's. Also not an actual definition of dystopia, because you have to come up with your own words, okay? You can use your notes in order to figure this out, but make sure that you put it in your own words. Finally, the inside of that flap, okay, you will be, hold on, giving information about the characteristics of those different things. So you're going to give information about the characteristics of sci-fi, what makes something science fiction, okay? And you're going to give information about the characteristics of a dystopia, what makes something dystopian. Okay. Now, I am sending in some lines that should equal to about those lines in case you need lines to write on, because you're going to have to write real small in order to get a full paragraph, right? If not, this one was written on lined paper, and I wrote 2 lines on every line of regular lined paper. Also, what you could do is figure out how to put it on there and fold it so that you could have extra room and so that it'll fold out if you would like. I'm okay with that too. Okay? This should be a fun project that's kind of like writing an essay. You have your 3 body paragraphs and your introduction paragraph pretty much. And then in the middle, you have a paragraph comparing 2 of them. So it's pretty much writing an essay, but it's a lot more fun than that because you also get to draw and make this cool little flippy book. Okay? Now, if we take a look at the rubric, which you guys will have a copy of also, you're going to want to try and aim for a 4, right? Let's see if I can make that. I can't quite get it in focus, but you guys will have a copy of this. So you want to aim for a 4. You want all of your time to be used on your project. You want the graphics to be nice and neat and creative and your own, right? So you don't want somebody else to do your pictures for you because then you're not going to get credit for that. You want your poster to be attractive in terms of design and layout and neat, right? You don't want it a mess. Okay. You want capitalization and punctuation correct throughout your poster. That's a big one. And then your 3 flaps with the stories, you want to make sure that they are a complete race response. And if you want that full 4, you want them to be at least 5 sentences long. Okay, race includes a citation, don't forget. And then that 4th flap, you want to make sure that sci-fi and dystopia are both defined and the characteristics are both thoroughly described. They would be defined on the outside and then the description on the inside, right? And then that final thing, your 2 texts are excellently compared. There are many examples on how the texts are the same as well as how they are different. And those examples show a deeper understanding of the text. So it's not like, oh, they both had boys as main characters. No. You would want to say something like both of the main characters are representations of adolescent teenage boys. And that would be a little bit more appropriate. Okay, and then the total score will give you your percent. Now this is your final for the whole semester, so do your best on it, okay? I miss you guys, and I hope that you guys are having a great end of the semester, and I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Talk to y'all later. Bye.